How would you describe purpose? Is it raising great kids? Career successes? Perhaps retirement planning? In the quiet moments alone with your thoughts, have you ever asked yourself, what is my true purpose in life? I believe our life can have several purposes, some of which will come as a surprise you could miss if you're not ready for it. Luckily, I was ready when I met a young woman from Jemez Pueblo, just northwest of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Her name was Carolyn Gachapin, an artist with the specialty of making Native American figurines as storyteller dolls. The storyteller figurines are made of clay and quite unique. Each forms the artist's interpretation of a man or woman sitting with a small handful of children on their lap as a story is read to them. As a storyteller myself, I was more than intrigued. Let me back up a minute. I met Carolyn as a result of a career decision I had made previously. I was recruited away from my role at Southwest Airlines to become the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at a company whose mission was to bring conventions and tourists to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I assumed responsibility for a national advertising campaign highlighting the attractions of Albuquerque. The heart of the campaign was the portrayal of local artists in all of our advertising. In my search for the most compelling artists is when I met Carolyn Gachapin. I asked her the routine question asked of all the candidates, why do you want to be a part of this ad campaign? Well, sir, she began in a very quiet and shy manner. I know this will get me more exposure for my work, but I also understand you want an artist to accompany your team to a big trade show in Washington, D.C. and display and demonstrate their art. That's correct, I replied. She continued in her shy manner. I have a deep personal yearning to visit Washington, D.C. I want to visit the Vietnam Memorial to see the engraving of my brother's name on that magnificent wall. In that moment, the purpose for my interview faded away as the opportunity for a whole new life purpose flooded over me. I vaguely remember closing my eyes and bringing the palms of my hands and fingers together like a praying mantis. I was deep into a vision of what I could do for Carolyn. The next thing I remember is the ad agency executive asking me if I was okay. I snapped back into the president and I told Carolyn, it just so happens that I'm a Cold War Army veteran and followed the wall's design completion, funding, and eventual dedication in 1982. I have interviewed enough artists to be able to tell you that you will be one of our featured artists, and it will be my pleasure this August to personally take you on a tour of the memorial. When August arrived, we went to Washington, and Carolyn's artwork, of course, was in our exhibit and was a big hit. Afterward, the tour of the Vietnam Memorial, where the names of all the fallen soldiers of that war are engraved on polished black granite wall. The design was selected from several thousand entries and was selected because it projected simplicity in confusing times, and it was hoped it would provoke thought rather than contain it. Boy, oh boy, did they ever succeed. We scoured the directory to find the panel for her brother's name. I personally had no names on the wall, but I struggled to calm my heart. When we reached the panel that had her brother's name, Carolyn ran her fingers slowly across the engraving. I put my arm around her and we both wept. I said a small prayer of comfort. As we collected ourselves, Carolyn produced a piece of quality onion skin paper and a pencil to begin shading the engraved inscription of her brother's name as a keepsake to take to her parents. Truly an intersection between art and an inspirational, emotional, and spiritual connection intended by the architect of the memorial. As we rode back to the hotel, I don't recall any conversation between us if there was any. I was feeling something special had just occurred. I felt it in my soul. I had just helped Carolyn fulfill a dream. While my career purpose was always to encourage and develop the people working for me, I could easily have missed the opportunity to envision the purpose of helping someone fulfill a dream. Carolyn had a truly life-changing experience, and I felt intoxicated by the joy I felt in my heart. What could the story of my experience mean to you? Sometimes the opportunity for purpose is a surprise and appears when you least expect. Be ready for it. I'm Dennis Campbell, and I have felt purpose.